Happy 2024 to everyone. Welcome to my channel, TAJJAD. I'm Dave Andrews, and it's a pleasure to have you here this brand new day, this brand new season on this occasion, the first day of 2024. So, it's really funny. This is the first time I've had a mic in front of me for over 40 years. That's 4 decades. It's amazing. I thought I was done, but it's been a long time, and here we are once again. I want to take you back, folks. I want to take you back to Harlem. I want to take you back to Sugar Hill, a place called the Battlegrounds. That's where it all started. For me, anyway. It started there in the Battlegrounds on 152nd Street, right there on Amsterdam Avenue, where we had something called Music in the Park. That was my pride and joy. I didn't know it at the time, but somehow, some way, I made a difference. And that didn't come from me because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, My motto was no cursing on the mic. That's right. Back then, before rap, before, everything took off, I had the nerve to go around talking about no cursing on the mic. Well, that's how I lived at that time in my life, and that's, how I felt. So that's what I promoted. Some guys got together. They had a basketball game there called the Sugar Hill Tournament. It was the Over the Hill gang. And these guys, that tournament was something else. 30 years and over you had to be in order to qualify to get in there. And they had some ex-pro players like Freddie Crawford and quite a few others, Walter Dukes, who played for the Knicks, and quite a few other guys, and some of the local characters like Milton Parker, who used to be called one of the best basketball players to ever come out of the Hill. The absolute best, about 6'2" guard that had passes that were just insane. Milton had the package. Well, they asked me to sort of MC these games, and I said, yeah, I do that. I'd be more than happy to do it. It started out really, really strange, folks, back in 1976 because I had nothing. I was hanging out with some friends of mine, Papa Frazier, he's affectionately known. He had all the records in the closet, records underneath the bed, records on the sides. Everything was lined in crates back in those days, and everything was on vinyl, 33 1/3 type style. After that, I also hooked up with my buddy Carlos R. Oh, I tell you, Carlos was something else. He was one of those real brainiac guys from Jersey, good parents, and he was into electronics a lot. So what we did, we put all that together. His electronics, Papa Frazier's records, and I said, you know what? I'll go up to the Battlegrounds and play music. So that's what I did. I went up there and I played some music for the people, whatever the people wanted. And when the tournament started in the summer, usually on the weekends, that's when I would go ahead and MC the tournament. Now, keep in mind, I had no skills. Absolutely no skills at all. I knew one particular word, rock. And my famous phrase was, you can't do that. When somebody would go up and, slap a basketball up against the backboard and pin it to the backboard, and it was called goaltending. I told him, you can't do that. Forget about it. You couldn't do it. But players did it anyway. We had some real characters in that park. That park, the Battlegrounds, was home to a lot of great ball players and unfortunately a lot of violence too. It was called the Battlegrounds for a reason. People broke out in fights. You go to a basketball game, fights break out. You go to a fight and a basketball game breaks out. You pick your choice on which day of the week it was. But we did have the greats come by. We had people like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on the sidelines. He actually had from what I'm told, his grandmother would live just up the block there on 156th Street near Amsterdam. He would stop by and watch the games, check things out. I met him a couple times there. Tallest human being I've ever met. They list him as 7'2". Kareem had probably 7'4", just like Ralph Sampson and so forth and some others. But one quick story is when he sat down at the marble tables that we had to play chess and checkers on, Kareem would sit on the back bench, where you have a wood bench, and usually that's where you put your back up against it. Well, Kareem would park his bottom on the top of that bench, stretch his legs out all the way underneath the table to the other side of the other bench, coming out the other side. This dude was tall. That's Kareem for you. He's a lovely human being, and just recently I heard he had a fall. Shout out to you, Kareem. Get well in the hospital because this is 2024, first day of the year, January 1. So shout out, speedy recovery, friend. So all of that went on in the Battlegrounds, and here I am pushing a speaker from a place on 148th Street. There was a brownstone there called Aquarius. It was basically a health food location that we also turned in through Carlos Sound Studio. The brownstone was owned by Percy Sutton, or one of his sons, I believe. So they got the people that were actually operating out there got a great deal, and were able to run this beautiful restaurant where they had this excellent food. It was great for the soul, and it would just help to revitalize your innards, And we have that sound studio on the second floor, restaurant on the first floor, sound studio on the second floor, and I wound up getting one of those A7 speakers they call Voice of the Theater speakers, and I put that on a dolly along with some records and along with some old equipment like a Macintosh preamp and some other Crown equipment, and I would push that up, sometimes with help, most times without. I would push that uphill to the Battlegrounds, turn on around the block on amp Sam, put that speaker on with an Atlas horn for mid-ranges, so we had some great sound, and we had a little Pioneer external cross by the time it was said and done. That helped to separate the lows from the mids so that people could hear the music more clearly. And with this one big A speaker, this is called A7, and this Atlas horn, I was able to actually broadcast that music throughout the neighborhood, and people would hear it from a quarter mile, half a mile away, and say, "Hey, Dave's in the park, music in the park, y'all. Let's go, let's do this, let's be there." So that's how it started. Me, remember, I had no skills whatsoever. I didn't know anything about emceeing or DJing. I didn't know how to call the games. One thing I did know how to do is play music that people liked, people appreciated. Songs like Fly, Robin, Fly. Other songs, Herbie Hancock. A lot of music that would hit your soul. It would just kind of make you feel at ease. I got some jazz playing here in the background. It sounds pretty good. I think I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Oh, no, what the heck. I'll just leave it where it is, But that music touched people's souls. And one of my friends, Teddy Harmons, one of my co-basketball players from the Cavaliers, Stan Brown's Cavaliers, we'll talk about that in another episode. But his younger sister, her name is Queen Bilquis. She said, "Dave, you don't know, you brought peace to the Battlegrounds." I said, "What? How did I do that?" All I did was come there and play music. I gave the people what they want, for God's sake, you got to give the people what they want. That's an old song, forget about it. Go back, GTS it, Google that stuff, you'll get the details on it. But I just played music that people wanted to hear. I gave my heart and soul to it. I had no money. I was broke all the time. I barely ate. People fed me. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't ask for compensation because I felt like I was doing something important. And besides, I loved the music. I enjoyed it. I wanted to share that with other human beings in my neighborhood, especially in that park called the Battlegrounds. So I did that. And just recently, about a year or two ago, Queen Bilquis came to me. Well, we were talking and, over the internet, the interweb, and she said, "Dave, you need to tell this story. Put it in a book." Well, I'll tell you what happened to the book. It kind of disappeared, but that's another story. But I have all the notes, and an amazing thing happened. She said I brought peace to Harlem, especially in 1977. Now, let me tell you guys, for those of you that don't know the history, too young to remember, just didn't know anything about it, ask your parents. We had a blackout in New York City in 1977. Now, I played the music in the park at 76. That was the intro, getting it going, bicentennial celebration, whoop-de-doo. Actually, a lot of things happened really good there. But in 77, what happened is we had that blackout. And let me tell you, there was looting. There were break-ins. The gates weren't necessarily on all the establishments back then. People were running around like you've seen them happen lately in some of these struggles and riots that have gone over in our country throughout the past few years. Well, let me tell you, that happened back then, and people were pretty upset. So I had a buddy, right? I used to get my music from a lamp, my power from a lamppost, and well, once the blackout was over, it lasted about a day or a little bit less, and it was a really tough night. But the next day I was out there with the speaker, bringing that music to people, helping them to just relax, because times were tough. We're talking the 70s. Times were tough. There weren't enough handouts, if you will. The government wasn't doing everything for us, and jobs weren't that plentiful. So I went out there and I took that music out there, and we partied, we laughed, we joked, we played basketball. We danced, we sat back, we listened. Some people on the side did the grassroots thing, if you know what I mean. I'm not condoning any activities. I've had my share, done my share, and I'm a survivor. I made it through. But a lot of things went on, but people were calm. People were peaceful. I don't get it. Behind the music. What about boy Gramps? Victor Gramps tell me, I grew up with him. He says, when I first got back in touch with him, he says, "Is that David Boy Scout in the original lamppost getting electricity DJ of the Battlegrounds?" He called me all those names. I had to roll because that was who I was. I was allowed through, I guess, local law enforcement, if you will, through community action, to get electricity from Con Ed in New York City, hook up everything so that we could have that music in the park, and it kept the neighborhood clean and peaceful. So, I'm grateful that was my experience. A lot of things happened in that Battlegrounds, and I'd like to talk about it. But one thing I do know, and I just wanted to say this to y'all that join me today that are listening, is that though I had nothing, I really didn't have anything. I slept on the couch of Papa Frazier. I had lost my job from the previous year because though I had some good things going on in business and industry, programming computers, but I couldn't focus on that. I loved the music too much, and I lost that job. But one thing I did say, I had some friends that were able to make sure I had a little something in my belly, even though I was down to like 145 and 190 now, as an adult. But they made sure I had a place to stay. I slept on Papa Frazier's couch and jammed that music, got those mixes together, and that was okay for me back then. And actually, I didn't even realize that I was broke because I didn't have any fantastic needs except to provide this music. But what I did find out, and today, this is today's, I'm finding a strange secret to drop for you guys. That's what I'm going to be doing on this channel, finding strange secrets to drop, because that's what TAJJAD means. Finding strange secrets to drop. And today's strange secret is that with passion and obsession, back that up. With passion and obsession, you can secure joy. It can work for you today if you have passion and obsession to help others. It can work for you today. It can help get you out of depression. It can help to also overcome any economic anxiety that you may have. If you just say, listen, I'm going to be of service to others. I'm going to help others out. I'm going to give them a piece of my passion, a piece of my joy. And guess what? You'll forget about what's bothering you. It may not last all day and all week, but for that moment, for that period of time, you get out of yourself and you can help others. And this is what I experienced. 1977, y'all, I experienced this. Now, along the path, I forgot that lesson and got more selfish and got into some things that took me away from that revelation. But today I'm grateful that I have a supportive wife. She's actually here in the studio. It's my second marriage, but we've been together, married for over 30 years, together over 32 years. She's stuck with me through thick and thin, and it has been a lot of thin, let me tell you. From home buying to homelessness. I've seen it, and we've seen it, and she's stuck with me to see me and us here today. So she's in the studio with me today. I'm not going to introduce her or anything, but we're creating. We're creating here. We're still creating. And we're creating not for me, but for you. For those of you that choose to tune in and listen today. Because there's a story behind all of this. Behind the Battlegrounds, behind the peace in the park and the peace in Harlem, there's a big story that has an impact on today's world. Why was I growing up in a place called the Battlegrounds? I went to the park to play. The monkey bars, the swings, Ring-a-Levio, all those sorts of games. I went to the park as a child to play, but I wind up in the Battlegrounds where I watched people fight and die. And of course, competition through basketball. There's a reason why the Battlegrounds became my favorite place to be. It has worldwide implications, especially with everything going on today. And we'll talk about that another time. Right now, it's about the joy of celebrating Sugar Hill, celebrating the Battlegrounds with so many more people to name that haven't been named. For instance, our good buddy Greg Artist just recently passed. Greg was a crazy Sly and the Family Stone fella. He used to follow these guys all around the country. He was a fan extraordinaire. Sly knew him. The Family Stone knew him. Greg would go wherever they were, whether it's all the way out to the West Coast, East Coast, South, you name it. Greg was there. Greg Artist, I'll sleep in peace, brother. I really do apologize that I couldn't put this first episode out there for you and others while you were still here with us, because you were a joy in many people's lives. I must say, since I'm honoring you today, you were the first person I ever saw with about 9 TVs on one wall when it came time to watch the Knicks, because I'm a New York Knicks fan. If you can't tell, just going over here. Oh, wrong side. Okay, if you can see, go New York, go New York, go. You know, we're doing our thing. I'm still a fan of the New York Knicks, but that's the only competitive bone I have in my body right now. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you, Greg, so that you could actually see this and get some joy, that remembrance, that rekindling of the times that we had in the Battlegrounds with the music. So this one goes out to you, buddy. So everyone, every single time, every episode we have, we're gonna find something strange, a strange secret to share with you. Okay? There's a lot for TAJJAD to drop in this community and in the world. Because I'm commissioned to do that. So this is going to be my avenue. No book at the moment. We're just going to do it this way. Tune in, find out what we're going to be dropping next. Remember, I got to check this out. This is my first video, right? So I want you to journey with me. It's not just about following, liking, and subscribing and everything, but I want you, of course, please comment on this channel, so I can get a chance to interchange with you, exchange ideas, exchange some of the things that happened in my life, our lives back then. A lot of this generation, is not with us anymore. We need the young folks, like Brother Wayne G, who got his start. G-Funk, baby, the whole G-Force crew. You guys got your start by listening to us, me and Papa Frazier, in the Battlegrounds. Step to the plate, come forward. Represent, because a lot of people weren't there, or they were too young to really know what was going on. So we need you to step up to the plate. Put some comments there, on this YouTube video, so I can interact with you. Find out what's important to you nowadays. I've been out of touch. I'm out here in Arizona. Harlem is my home. Sugar Hill will always be my birthplace and home. But I need to know what's going on. We can reconnect, because there's some things that need to be addressed in our community, in our society, and in this nation, and in this world right now. And it's way beyond just me, but maybe it can start with a little music in the park. So I look forward to hearing from you. Be well, and namaste.